Privet, Katila, Waningruski desu. Today I wanted to speak on a topic that's a little bit personal to myself and try to give a little bit of wisdom from my experience to you and hopefully help someone who finds themselves in this situation, which is becoming, from what I observe, more frequent in this atomized modern world. So, what is nihilism? To me, nihilism is a state of mind, and what affects your state of mind affects your outlook on the world as a whole, and how you see the world as a whole affects how you act in that world. Nihilism is the idea that there is no meaning to life, that there is no standards or morals to life. It's all meaningless. It's a state of despair. It's something we get after we realize that the walls we have built up to root ourselves in this world come crashing down. What underpinned our meaning to life, our morality, our purpose, just falls apart, and what remains is nothing. To get to this state requires something traumatic to happen to someone's life, something that wipes away those underpinnings of our reality. It's a state of despair, as I said. It's a state of rootlessness. And this could happen in broader civilizational aspects as well. In the West, I should say, we've deconstructed our entire identities, our entire purpose of our civilization, and what's left is just this empty husk. And we're trying to fill it up with multiculturalism, or try to fill it up with some consumer products, but it doesn't really do what we need justice, what a human needs, And so in this grander civilization, we're in this civilizational nihilism, as I call it. We've deconstructed our entire existence away, and now, we don't know what we are and what's our purpose here. So almost 8 years ago from now, I lost everything. Or, at the very least, I felt like the world I had lived in was lost. And around in 2014, I was in this really horrible depression, which led me to my nihilism. I won't go into the specifics, but I know how it feels to be a nihilist, because I was a nihilist myself for a few years. And it's one of the most, depressing, loneliest, and darkest places I have ever been in. I lost my faith in God. My entire political ideas were smashed away. I had no family because they divorced. I lost my childhood homestead. I lost that stability in my life. I had no higher culture to live up to or a higher purpose. It was just me being alone, and I suffered greatly. And depression and nihilism are kind of used interchangeably, but for the purpose of this, nihilism is a state of mind where depression can roam free. It's when you think things don't matter, that everything sucks, just why do anything? I will say this, though, that it is impossible to live as a nihilist. It's just not human to be one. I know that is radical of me to say, but to be human means to reject nihilism. You could believe in a logical, philosophical sense that the world might have no objective meaning, but you don't act like you do. And thus, the purpose of this video, I focus on the state of mind that is nihilism. You don't live as if life has no meaning, or that you value nothing because the value isn't objective. As human beings, to live means to be free from nihilism. And when you think you have nothing to live for, then that is when nihilism can get its claws around you. So how do you claw your way out of that state of mind and actually finally live? Because I think as everyone who's actually been through that really dark time in their life, that depression state, it's that you're not actually living, and people who got out of that, you guys who look back at it, you guys wonder, wow, I can't even believe why I was thinking that. It's a state of mind, as I said. So, how do you claw out of it? So here are some tips that I found useful as through my 3 or 4 year effort when I was down there, how I broke free and finally found my roots in this world. So, number 1, have a long-term outlook, or as you can say, have a high time preference. This is the number one thing that I would advise, because the idea that we hear, just to suffer, that existence is pain, and, you just slog it out day by day, because if you do that, you become disillusioned with the world around you, because it just seems so fake. Depression wants you to think that there is no way out. And this is why 50,000 people in the United States take their own lives every year, because they don't think there is a way out. I know that feeling. When you have nowhere to go, you're stuck. And it feels like everything you do is just pointless because all of it is in vain. And the nihilism that sets in is that, well, everything I do is pointless and meaningless. Let's just end it. Why suffer? And, I thank God every day that I did not take my own life all those years ago. I contemplated it. I thought about it, but I never undertook it. And I thank God that I'm still here. So, that's the thing. I always think about, like, if I did take my life all those years ago, all those memories I made, good, bad, just the roller coaster of life. I'm glad I'm still here. And even if you don't believe in, like, God, for example, you just disappear forever. You're just into the loneliness. And this is the brief time you have in this world. So even if you don't believe in God, it's the beautifulness, just that I tasted. I know this seems absurd, but spending a laugh with a friend, or giving a laugh with a friend, or eating that nice bowl of raspberry ice cream, or I don't know, just the little things, and the grander things too. I graduated high school, going into Marine Corps, all these things, all these big events, big and small. I'm glad I'm still here, So the number one thing I would give is a long-term plan that you're working towards. Where do you want to be in 10 years? For me, personally, I want to be an officer in the United States Air Force, complete my 4 years of college, and then travel the world for about a year or two. I am working towards those long-term goals because I see the end point. And as you fight towards that destination, the end point might change. The path itself to get to that end point might change. Sometimes it might be unclear, but what I implore you is to keep on moving, just push on. And I know it's cliche, but life is the journey, and it's what you make of that journey as you go down the paths of life that towards your long-term destination that shape your life. As an example, I wanted to join the Army at first, but my Army recruiter after a few months dropped me, and I met with a Marine recruiter at the gym, and we worked together, and I was sent to Marine Corps boot camp. But after 2 months, that did not work out. I wasn't cut out for it. So I tried to join the Air Force, but after a few months, my recruiter ghosted me, and I half-assed decided to go to college. That was on the other side of the states, and they accepted me, and now I'm in Air Force ROTC. So things can change. You roll with the punches, but always have a long-term goal that you're fighting towards. The second piece of advice that I would give to defeat nihilism is always seek self-improvement. Hold yourself up to some objective standards and always push to better yourself. Being stuck in that deep, dark hole of nihilism, just sitting in sin and debauchery, brings a toll on your mind. I know it feels good and whatnot, but what feels good in the moment isn't what's best for you in the long run. When you fight for a better you, you have a cause. You are lifting yourself above the sewers that the depression put you in. You are elevating yourself to be a better person. Self-improvement is a broad category, I'll admit, but it can mean, getting rid of your bad or even evil habits. Improve your general routine and dedicate yourself to improving yourself in whatever fills your passion. Like a Renaissance man, if you will. Learn new skills, learn a language, a trade, things like cooking. A lot of things you work on in the day-to-day of your life makes your, in the day-to-day life that makes up your journey as you march towards that long-term destination. That's what makes these things fulfilling. And it fills your soul. And doing this self-improvement not only improves you spiritually, physically, mentally, but it also creates your character. It makes you. A you that is, and you is the last thing that nihilism wants you to believe. That you are a unique individual who has so much that he or she can do and has so much potential. For me, it's dedicating myself to ROTC and this channel. And on another personal note, in terms of getting rid of bad habits, I've mentioned this before, but I did have a really, really bad porn addiction. Or at least I used to. And while I dabble in that bad habit once in a while, it is far and away a million times better than what I was used to. I would engage in just the most disgusting types of degenerate pornography for hours on end. Sometimes it would last, I would be in a session for like 5 hours of me just looking for the right video or find the right person to role play with. but I am fighting it with all my might, and I am proud to say that I am a few weeks clean of my most terrible vice, and I cannot wait to keep on improving. Think of defeating your bad vices. Think of it as you're defeating these bad vices as defeating the evil that has wrapped around your mind and was trying to take you down in that nihilistic hellscape. Hell, the reason why I survived 2 months of Marine Corps boot camp, despite being this timid, skinny, clumsy person, is because of that fire in my soul to be better and overcome my nihilism. That's why I overcame for such a long time. So always self-improve yourself. The third thing that I would advise are kind of cliche, to be quite honest, but these things, everyone kind of knows that they have to do, but they do make a good difference in your overall well-being, and it goes hand in hand with my other advice. But things like make sure you sleep, get good night's rest, get at least, I would say 3 good exercise sessions every week at the gym, eat well and be healthy. Things that, the things that take up most of our productive days, things like work and school, make sure also that you get some sort of identity out of it. Don't just see it as, well, this is just society making me go here, and I'm so cursed. Don't let what takes up like a big chunk of your productive day, either that be at school or work, bring you down. Embrace it or change it if you can't. Don't dread it, because one of the biggest things man gets their fulfilling an identity from is their work. A job well done. And I will tell you that the things you work hard on are the things that leave a mark. Things that you admire. The 2 biggest things for me is this 4-hour-long RPG game that I created myself, my own personal work, no one else, myself, and a 130,000-word fan fiction that took me over a year to write, or about a year to write, on Zootopia of all things, actually. Most of life is going to be mundane, I'm going to be honest with you. And the skill is having that non-special time to think the things that just are everyday things to be fulfilling. I'm writing the script for this video right now. And it's been about 2 hours or so that took me to write the script, of thinking, planning, editing, typing, recording. And yeah, it takes a lot of time, but it fulfills that human need to make and produce, and through that, my life is fulfilled. So improve yourself physically with exercise, because that also helps boost your emotions and confidence. I'll also, eat well, sleep well. And for all these things, those little things in life, this will finally, make your life clean and smooth. The fourth thing that I would recommend, I'll add as we talk about the everyday things, is family. You heard me say this before, but family is the fundamental building block of civilization. It's where all our growth is, and there is something special about family that goes beyond anything else in this world. It's a special type of bond. Keep close with your mother, your father, your grandparents, siblings, but also try to start a family of your own. What makes man and women fulfilled is fulfilling those natural biological roles in a family, and knowing that you're fighting for a future that goes far beyond your time here on Earth. Family makes you grounded and gives you the roots. I will also try to say, have some friends. I know it's easier said than done, along with the family thing, but, but what you do, and when you're in that fellowship, when you with those who share those interests, honestly, having those friends gives you so much joy and meaning to your life. That's what, and they're there to support us when we are down in the dumps. Having friends so you can share those experiences and create memories with them. I want you to think, out of all your best moments in your life, how many were with your friends? With fellow travelers, fellow acquaintances and such. Probably more than half, I will say, right? Because, we are social animals, and fulfilling that urge to be wanted and needed in your community. And, with your friends, that brings you out of that atomized hole nihilism puts you in. Also, as we speak about getting out there beyond your shell, I would recommend getting out of your home once in a while and experience the real world, as I call it. Every week, if you can, go out into nature. Go to a natural park or just somewhere secluded from all the noise and busyness of industrial society. And just be at peace. Sometimes a little break from the hustle is needed for your well-being, and it makes things feel a lot more real. I know what brought me, for example, a hobby of mine is photography, is trying to capture those beautiful, real moments that was outside our, lives. Because nature is real, whether you think of it or not. Whether you think it is or not, I should say. This is also not required, but it has helped me, is the idea of praying, meditating, and having a religion. Because it really does clear your mind and set a firm foundation for your life. And finding God is a journey that each of us must take. But don't worry, you don't need to find God right now. But maybe after you find your way out of nihilism, He'll be there. He'll be there for you. So that is obviously up to everyone. So that faith is up to you. But that is just a personal thing that helped me a lot in my journey out of nihilism. Speaking of social atomization, another piece of advice that kind of ties into the other point is to realize that you're not just an atomized individual, that you're part of a greater community. The nihilism that is filling our society is pushed because people think of their suffering and, see the outside world as this indifferent madness or even a hostile force that's, trying to harm them. When you rekindle and look deep in your nation's and people's past, let it nurture you and give you strength. Take pride in who you are. Look at your ancestors' achievements and your personal achievements, but also take solace in your national, ethnic, and cultural identity. Experience the authenticity of high culture. Read up on your history. And while you shouldn't have something like, this be, like, say, your race be your entire identity, where everything about you is you being black or white, but understand that you can take solace and identity from something that runs through your veins. That's something that, this society isn't just some hostile force. It's there to help you. And it's your job to help improve it as well. So it's like this, you have a connection to the world around you. So all those things helped me overcome my nihilism. And while my journey has just begun, for improving myself as a person and achieving grander things and finding and deepening my roots in my identity and purpose in life, it's all coming together. And, I thank my blessings every day that I'm alive and experiencing this life. Life is like a roller coaster. There will be bad times. There will be good times. It has its ups and downs. A saying that I made is, only through hell will we find heaven. That what life is a mix of good and bad. You must have one to have the other. But the thing is, you have to enjoy that wonderful ride in life in all its glory and all its ups and downs. And never let it knock you down. Enjoy the little things in your life and be grateful for what you have. Because chances are that if you're watching this, you're better off than like 70% of the world. And, nihilism is unnatural because of our human need to create meaning and value. And thus it is impossible to be nihilistic for long. Even if you believe there is no inherent meaning and morality in life, you'll still create it because you're human. And to be human means to live. And to live and be human, and to be human who has long-term plans, who always seeks self-improvement, who is sociable and has roots in his family and nation and identity, who always enjoys life and strive through the good and bad, this person will defeat nihilism. So be human and reject nihilism. I hope you all enjoy this video. I hope you like, share, and subscribe and comment if you all like it. It would really help me out a lot, and I hope I brought you guys entertainment and enjoyment and some knowledge, if I may, and some wisdom. Also, if you guys really liked it, be sure to check out my Patreon if you feel extra generous. So aim high, wander on, from America with Russian love.